Hello and welcome to BYJU'S IAS. Let's take up the daily quiz for today. The first question: which of the following statements are correct? Most favored nation or MFN tag requires a country to provide any concessions, privileges, or immunities granted to one nation in a trade agreement to all the other World Trade Organization member countries. Although its name implies favoritism towards another nation, it denotes the equal treatment of all countries. Exceptions allow for preferential treatment of developing countries, regional free trade areas, and customs unions. India and Pakistan have recently withdrawn the MFN tag given to each other following tensions in their bilateral relationship. Amongst the given statements, the fourth statement is incorrect. So option B is the right answer. See, WTO member countries are bound to provide the MFN tag to each other. But it doesn't mean that they would provide preferential treatment to that country or show favoritism towards that country in their trade policy. It only means that all the trading partners will be given equal treatment, and a country which has been accorded the MFN tag will be given the same treatment as the most favored nation of that country. So any tariff or trade concessions that are given to a particular country will have to be extended to all the other trading partners as well, because the very essence of the MFN tag under the WTO is to ensure that countries are given equal treatment. But however, exceptions are allowed for developing countries, regional free trade agreements, and customs unions. But the fourth statement is incorrect because Pakistan has never given the MFN tag to India. On the other hand, India had given the MFN tag to Pakistan, but following the Pulwama attacks of 2019, it was India which decided to withdraw the MFN tag. Now, this question on the India-Pakistan trading relationship has been taken up because of this article in The Hindu. See, trade between India and Pakistan took a major hit after the Pulwama attacks, as India held the Jaish-e-Mohammed to be responsible for the attack, which is a Pakistan-sponsored terror outfit. While India retaliated against the Pulwama attacks by carrying out the Balkot airstrikes, it also engaged in coercive diplomacy in order to put pressure on Pakistan to put an end to state sponsorship of terrorism. As a part of this coercive diplomacy, one of the measures that India took was to scale down the trading relations with Pakistan. India stopped cross-LOC trade, that is the border trade that was taking place at designated points and checkposts. Even though cross-LOC trade was suspended by India, it did not completely ban trading with Pakistan, and trade through third countries continued between India and Pakistan. But in the meantime, India revoked the MFN tag that it had given to Pakistan in order to exert economic pressure on Pakistan. Then in the same year, after India revoked the special status given to Jammu and Kashmir under Article 370, and after it reorganized the state of Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan retaliated against India and it suspended all forms of trade with India. This suspension by Pakistan covered not just cross-LOC trade, which India had already banned, but also trade through third countries was prohibited. But after 2 years of tense relations, the two countries have achieved a major breakthrough, and this is clearly evident since February 2021. It all began with the historic joint announcement of upholding the ceasefire along the LOC, followed by several positive statements by senior leaders and officials from both the sides. In the last few weeks, we are witnessing a major transformation in the India-Pakistan relationship, and reportedly, this ongoing defreeze has been facilitated through back-channel talks and back-channel diplomacy, through which India and Pakistan are seeking to normalize their relations by achieving significant progress on key issues away from the eyes of the media and the public. Reportedly, these back-channel talks have been facilitated by the United Arab Emirates. As a result of this ongoing defreeze, India even allowed the aircraft of Prime Minister Imran Khan to pass over India while he was visiting Sri Lanka. Then recently, India granted sports-related visas to Pakistani nationals after a gap of 3 years. And we even spoke about the recent meeting between the Indus water commissioners of the two countries. These ongoing developments over the last 1.5 months clearly indicates a broader attempt being made between the two countries to normalize their relations. And now it appears that both the countries are looking to reopen trade, and Pakistan has taken the first step and it has decided to allow the import of cotton and sugar from India. It's very important to keep track of these ongoing developments between India and Pakistan, as we are witnessing nothing short of the unthinkable, because India and Pakistan are slowly inching towards a historic transformation in their relationship. Now let's look at the second question. What is the inflation target that has been prescribed for the Monetary Policy Committee under the Monetary Policy Framework? 5.5%, 4% with a tolerance band of plus or minus 2%, between 2 to 4%, under 7%. The correct answer is option B. The Monetary Policy Committee has been given the task to maintain inflation at 4% with a tolerance range of plus or minus 2%. That is to maintain inflation between 2% to 6% under exceptional emergency circumstances, but otherwise, on a regular basis, the inflation target has been set at 4%. This monetary policy framework was brought out in 2016, and accordingly, the RBI Act was also amended, and it provided for the establishment of the Monetary Policy Committee to manage the country's monetary policy. This committee, that is headed by the Governor of the RBI, has been given the task to maintain an inflation target of 4% with a tolerance band of plus or minus 2%. This question was asked because according to this article in the Hindu, the government has decided to retain the same inflation target for the Monetary Policy Committee for the period 2021 to 2026. See, this inflation target range that was adopted back in 2016 was applicable for the period 2016 to 2021. Following the end of this period, the government has carried out a review of the inflation target and it has decided to retain the same target for the next period as well, that is between 2021 to 26, and the Monetary Policy Committee would be expected to strictly contain inflation within this prescribed target. Now let's look at the third question. With which Indian Ocean country has India recently signed a comprehensive economic cooperation and partnership agreement? Sri Lanka, Madagascar, Mauritius, or Seychelles? The correct answer is option C. India has signed the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation and Partnership Agreement with Mauritius recently. This question has been asked because according to this press release from the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, this free trade agreement between India and Mauritius will come into force from today. This free trade agreement covers trade in goods, rules of origin, trade and services, technical barriers to trade, sanitary and phytosanitary measures, dispute settlement, movement of natural persons, and key sectors such as telecom and financial services. This agreement is designed to boost trade between the two countries in their respective core areas, and it is expected to boost India's trading relations with a key country in the Indian Ocean region. Now let's look at the fourth question. Which institution is responsible for implementing the foreign trade policy? The Department of Economic Affairs, Confederation of Indian Industry, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, the Directorate General of Foreign Trade. The correct answer is option D. It is the DGFT which is responsible for implementing the foreign trade policy. See, the DGFT is an attached office of the Department of Commerce under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry comes out with the foreign trade policy, and currently the foreign trade policy for 2015-2020 is in operation. The DGFT is responsible for implementing this policy in order to boost Indian exports and maintain Indian imports. Last year, this foreign trade policy for 2015-2020 was supposed to be replaced with a new foreign trade policy, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the government decided to extend the same policy until 31st March 2021 with a few changes. But considering the unprecedented economic situation that has been created by the pandemic, the government has decided to extend the same policy again for another 6 months, that is until September 2021. Following this period, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry will be bringing out the latest foreign trade policy for India. Now let's take up a question from the 2019 Prelims paper. In India, the use of carbofuran, methylparathione, phorate, and trizophos is viewed with apprehension. These chemicals are used as pesticides in agriculture, preservatives in processed foods, fruit ripening agents, moisturizing agents in cosmetics. The correct answer is option A. The chemicals mentioned over here, they're all toxic chemicals that are used in several pesticides, which are seen to be critical for various sectors of agriculture. Now, under the fact of the day, we shall talk about an initiative of Niti Aayog known as AIM Prime. See, AIM Prime stands for Atal Innovation Mission, Program for Researchers on Innovations, Market Readiness and Entrepreneurship. It is a sub-initiative that has been launched under the Atal Innovation Mission by the Niti Aayog in partnership with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Venture Center, which is a non-profit technology business incubator. The focus of AIM Prime would be to promote and support science-based deep tech startups and ventures across the country. Just the other day in DailyQuiz, we had covered what is deep tech. I had explained in detail as to what constitutes deep tech or deep technology, and we had understood how deep tech startups are intensely focused on research and development, and they are exclusively focused on innovation and knowledge creation, even at the risk of delayed commercialization of their innovation and products. So deep tech is essentially a capital intensive sector with very little scope for profits, at least in the initial days. But however, deep tech can have a profound impact on the society and the country, and it can completely transform an entire sector. So to promote and support these deep tech startups, which are exclusively focused on research and development, the Niti Aayog has launched a specific mission known as AIM Prime in collaboration with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Under this initiative, technology developers and even CEOs and senior incubation managers will receive support from the Niti Aayog and the industry, and they could avail this training program which will provide them with suitable guidance and mentorship. Suitable candidates from the deep tech industry will receive intensive support from the government through in-depth learning, lectures, seminars, projects, exercises, and even project-specific mentoring. Under this initiative, a deep tech startup playbook or a guidebook will also be created, along with access to a curated video library with plenty of peer-to-peer learning opportunities. The primary objective of AIM Prime is to scale up the deep tech science industry by providing not just the right kind of intellectual support, but also by providing the right kind of exposure to those who are starting out in the deep tech startup ecosystem. So with this, let's conclude our discussion for today. Thanks for watching.